People want to judge me for what I did to survive. Go ahead. But what if I told you stripping saved my life, gave me independence, and taught me to own every room I walked into? Don't sleep on what survival teaches you. People want to judge me for what I did to survive. Go ahead. But I'll tell you what stripping did for me. It gave me money to move out of a bad situation. It gave me independence. And it gave me the confidence to stand in front of people and own the room. Don't sleep on what survival teaches you. From the age of 18, Cardi worked as a stripper, first in New York and later in other cities, amassing savings and developing the fierce, unapologetic persona that would eventually captivate millions. She has been consistently candid about this chapter of her life, never hiding it, never apologizing for it. I always say stripping saved my life. I was in a relationship that was bad for me. I had no money. I had no way out. Dancing gave me options. It gave me the ability to say, I don't need you. I can take care of myself. That's powerful. Don't let nobody take that narrative from me. But Cardi B was never going to stay behind closed doors. Even before social media gave her a megaphone, she had a voice that demanded to be heard. In 2013, Cardi B stumbled into social media almost by accident. She began posting videos on Instagram, unfiltered, funny, sharp, real. No publicist, no manager, no filter. Just a girl from the Bronx talking directly to the camera with the kind of honesty that the internet had rarely seen from someone in her position. Clips, recreated style footage of early Cardi Instagram moments. Laughing, talking, gesturing wildly. I wasn't trying to be famous. I was just being me. I would be getting ready for work, put on my phone, and just talk. About my life, about what was going on, about whatever. And people responded. They were like, who is this girl? Because I wasn't trying to be something I wasn't. Her follower count exploded. By 2015, Cardi B had amassed hundreds of thousands of Instagram followers who tuned in not just for entertainment, but for the authentic, comedic, and often deeply emotional glimpses into her world. She spoke about being a woman of color navigating poverty, relationships, ambition, and identity with a bluntness that felt revolutionary. The internet gave me a platform before I even knew what to do with one. People loved that I was raw, that I cursed, that I talked about real things, that I wasn't pretending to be some perfect, polished person. Because I wasn't. I was working, I was struggling, but I was also laughing and moving forward. In 2015, Cardi B joined the cast of VH1's hit reality series Love Hip Hop, New York. For many, it was their introduction to Belcalis Almanzar. For Cardi, it was a launch pad. Went on that show because I wanted people to see me. Not the Instagram girl me. My story. Where I came from, what I was working toward. And yeah, it was messy sometimes. It's reality TV. But I showed people who I was, and they loved it. Or they hated it. Either way, they were watching. Cardi's presence on Love Hip Hop was electric. She was funny, confrontational, surprisingly vulnerable, and completely impossible to ignore. She quickly became one of the show's most talked about personalities, her scenes going viral week after week. People would stop me on the street. That had never happened before. My face was on their TV screens. I realized, oh, this is a real thing. People know me. So now I gotta figure out what I actually want to do with that. Pause. She leans forward. And what I wanted to do was rap. In 2016, Cardi B released her debut mixtape, Gangsta Bitch Music Volume 1. The hip-hop world took notice. Here was a woman whose flow was distinct, whose voice was unmistakable, and whose lyrics, brash, boastful, and they said I wasn't a real rapper, that I'd never last. But every doubt they threw at me, I turned it into fuel, and then I hit #1 on the Billboard Hot 100. Wanna know how a girl from the Bronx did that? Brilliantly self-aware, felt like nothing else on the market. A second volume followed in 2017, deepening her credibility in the rap community. Always loved rap. I grew up on it. Missy Elliott, Lil Kim, Foxy Brown, Remy Ma, women who had a lot to say and said it loud. That's what I wanted to be. But I was scared. Could I really do this? Was I good enough? You always have that doubt. The rap world, particularly its gatekeepers, is notoriously hard on newcomers. Doubly so on women, and triply so on women from unconventional backgrounds. Cardi faced skepticism, dismissal, and outright hostility. She pressed on. They said I wasn't a real rapper. They said I was just a reality TV girl playing dress-up. They said I wouldn't last 6 months. You know what I did with all that? I used it. Every doubt somebody had about me became fuel. I put it in my music. I put it in my performances. Watch me. On June 16, 2017, Cardi B released a single called Bodak Yellow. What happened next is the stuff of music industry legend. Title card, Bodak Yellow, #1 on Billboard Hot 100. September 2017, Bodak Yellow debuted modestly, but its momentum was unstoppable. Radio stations picked it up. Streaming numbers surged. And then, in September 2017, something historic happened. Cardi B became the first solo female rapper in nearly 20 years to reach #1 on the Billboard Hot 100, since Lauryn Hill's Doo-Wop, That Thing. In 1998, when they told me, I literally didn't believe them. I thought they were messing with me. #1 on the Billboard Hot 100? Me, Belcalis from the Bronx? I cried. I'm not ashamed to say it. I cried like a baby. A beat. She laughed softly. And then I got on the phone and called my mama. The cultural impact of Bodak Yellow was seismic. It wasn't just a hit, it was a statement. A woman who had been a stripper, a social media personality, a reality TV cast member had walked into hip-hop's highest room and planted her flag. On April 6, 2018, Cardi B released her debut studio album, Invasion of Privacy. The album debuted at #1 on the Billboard 200 and received widespread critical acclaim. It featured collaborations with SZA, Chance the Rapper, J Balvin, Bad Bunny, Kehlani, and YG, a roster that announced Cardi's arrival not just as a rapper, but as a force who could move fluidly across genres and generations. With that album, I wanted to show everything I was. Not just the turn-up Cardi, the vulnerable Cardi, the romantic Cardi, the angry Cardi, the girl who's been hurt, the woman who's triumphant. All of it. That album is me. In February 2019, Invasion of Privacy won the Grammy Award for Best Rap Album, making Cardi B the first solo female artist ever to win that category. She accepted the award in a custom Mugler dress, visibly overcome with emotion. Standing on that Grammy stage, I thought about every person who told me no, every person who laughed at me, every time I cried in private because I was scared the dream wasn't going to happen. And I thought about my daughter. I wanted her to know, baby, your mama did it, and so can you. Behind the rhinestones and the chart-topping anthems is a businesswoman of formidable instinct. Cardi B has leveraged her celebrity into an empire, fashion collaborations with Fashion Nova, Steve Madden, and Reebok, makeup partnerships, television appearances, acting roles in the Fast Furious franchise, and a growing roster of brand endorsements that have made her one of the highest-earning female entertainers in the world. I always say, I'm not just a rapper. I'm a brand. I'm a business. I take that seriously, because I know what it's like to have nothing. I know what it's like to wonder how you're going to pay your rent. So when the money came, I wasn't going to just spend it. I was going to build. Being famous doesn't protect you from pain. I've battled postpartum depression, public scrutiny, and non-stop opinions. But here's the secret. What holds you together when nobody's watching can make you unstoppable. Want to know how? Something. Cardi has also become an unexpectedly prominent political voice, an outspoken commentator on income inequality, healthcare, police brutality, and immigration. Her video interview with Senator Bernie Sanders in 2019 reached millions of viewers and was widely cited as a masterstroke of grassroots political communication. I talk about politics because it affects my people. It affects people like me, poor people, brown people, people who don't usually have a seat at the table. If I can use my platform to make somebody care, to make somebody vote, to make somebody pay attention, then I'm going to do that. Every time. Cardi B's personal life has been as public as her career, sometimes by choice, sometimes not. Her relationship with rapper Offset, a member of Migos, has been a lightning rod for media attention, marked by public proposals, separations, reconciliations, and 2 children. Daughter Culture, born in 2018, and Sunwave, born in 2021. My relationship is complicated, but so is life. I'm not going to pretend everything is perfect. I'm not that person, but I love my family. I love my children more than anything on this earth. And everything I do, every stage I walk on, every record I cut, is for them. Cardi has also been open about her mental health struggles, her experiences with postpartum depression, and the particular pressures of being a public figure of color navigating both personal and professional crises under an unblinking spotlight. Being famous doesn't protect you from pain. If anything, it magnifies it. Everybody's watching. Everybody's got an opinion. You got to have a foundation. You got to know who you are when you close the door and it's just you. Because that's what holds you together. As of the mid-2020s, Cardi B's legacy is already secure. She changed the conversation about who gets to be a rap star. She broke barriers at institutions that had never made room for women like her. She built a global brand on a foundation of radical authenticity at a time when the internet both demands and punishes honesty. But perhaps more than anything, Cardi B gave a generation of young women from hard places, from the projects, from the strip clubs, from the margins of the economy, permission to believe that their story was worth telling, that their voices mattered, that the door did not have to be opened for you. You could kick it down yourself. I want young girls, especially young girls who look like me, who come from where I come from, to see me and know, this is possible. Not because it's easy. It's not. I bled for this. I cried for this. I grinded in places that would embarrass some people. But it is possible. Don't let nobody dim your light because they can't handle your shine.